How's it going, everyone? It's General Tariel, your coach of the Charlotte Carbinks, bringing you the APA Season 6, Week 1 team build versus CloudNimbus and the Nashville Infernapes. Coming into Week 1, we are facing a scary team. Cloud is a good coach. Last year in APA Season 5, he did not do well, but he has done very well in previous seasons. The only time I faced Cloud was last season in Season 5, and we almost managed to 6-0 him until he decided to click self-destruct with Snorlax. Took out my Tangrowth, and we only got that 5-0. But he had a bad draft last season, and he didn't do so well because of it. So coming into this season, by the looks of it, I think he's going to do very well because he has a very strong team. And I'm going to break it down for you. So his first pick was his totem pick. It was his Tier 4 Electros. Strong electric type with the ability Levitate. So there's no super effective move to hit Electros unless you are capable of ignoring its ability with either Mold Breaker, Terravolt, or use Smackdown on it, Gravity, something of the sort. Because of this, Electros normally runs an Assault Vest, so it can always take just those neutral hits or resisted hits and become bulky with still some offensive potential. Electros is a good mix attacker with both physical and special. With his very wide move pool, he's got access to, of course, his Stab, Thunderbolt, and Volt Switch, and Wild Charge if he wants to be offensive. He also gets access to U-Turn, Giga Drain, Flamethrower, Drain Punch, Crunch, Knockoff, and Acid Spray. Electros is very versatile with this move pool, and Cloud did have it last year, so I will have a feeling that he will bring it this first game because he brought it a decent amount of times. And majority of last season, he always brought an AV version of Electros. Next up is his Mega pick, Mega Absol, a very strong Dark type with a strong ability in Magic Bounce. Magic Bounce makes it so if I try to get a Stealth Rocks, throw out a Will-O-Wisp or Toxic, and he sends that thing out, it will come right back to me, and then it does more harm to me than it does to him. Mega Absol is a very strong attacker, more on the physical side but can be run special, but is very frail defensively with low HP and low defenses. Has also a solid speed, very capable of Swords Dance sweeping us. For his physical move pool, he has access to Knockoff, Sucker Punch, Play Rough, and Mega Horn. Those are the main ones you can run a Mega Absol. And for special moves, if he wants to bring that, he can run Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt. While Mega Absol also has decent support in Wish, Thunderwave, Toxic, and Will-O-Wisp. Now his only Tier 1 Pokemon is Necrozma, a new Generation 7 Pokemon. Legendary Psychic type with the ability Prism Armor. Prism Armor makes it so he only takes 3 force damage from super effective moves, similar to that of Filter on Mega Aggron. A very solid ability that makes it very bulky. Necrozma is a very good defensive Pokemon with good special attack. It is mainly run defensively on the OU meta, so that is what it will most likely be, because Necrozma does have the ability to set up Calm Mind to raise its special attack and special defense, and then sweep from there. It brings good support with Stealth Rock, Thunder Wave, Toxic, and then it keeps its health up with Morning Sun. He has the offensive move pool of Psychic, Shadow Claw, not Shadow Ball, Flash Cannon, Earthquake. It's not that wide of a move pool, but Necrozma can still make it work. Also to mention that Necrozma and Electros are Cloud's both Z Crystal Pokemon. So coming this week, I feel like Necrozma, if he brings one, Necrozma will be carrying the Z Crystal over Electros. Next up, he starts his Regen Core with Amoonguss, a very solid Grass and Poison Pokemon with the ability Regenerator. Regenerator makes it where he brings it out and then brings it back in, gets 33% more health. This is what makes it a nice bulky pivot. Usually a special defensive pivot, but can also be run defensively if needed. Access to the 100% accurate Sleep move Spore. He's got Synthesis, Clear Smog, Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, and Foul Play. Also access to Toxic still, but normally Amoonguss wants to just run that Spore and put whatever answer to it is asleep. Second part of the regen core is the water and psychic type Slowbro. Slowbro has the access to that regenerator once again. They just work so well together. In fact, Season 5 Point Blank had it. He was the runner-up to the championship game, and now the analyst for this season. He used it very well, and I'm pretty sure Cloud can do the same. Slowbro offensively has access to Scald, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, and Shadow Wall, but is mainly there for support to get its health back, such as Slack Off, and then he can do Thunder Wave, Toxic, or he can set up with Calm Mind if you'd like. Slowbro is a good defensive pivot, lacks a special defense, and that's where Amoonguss can come in and help it out. His other bulk, Cloud's going very bulky this year, is Togekiss, a fairy and flying type. He's got that ground immunity and dragon immunity, with the ability Serene Grace, which now means Air Slash has a 60% chance to flinch us, which is Togekiss is very known for. It is a good bulky mon, gets access to Roost for sustain, has offensive moves in Air Slash, Dazzling Gleam, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Extra Sensory, but mainly has solid support in Roost for its health, Heal Bell for Cleric, Thunder Wave, Toxic, Tailwind, so we can bring the speed up for the opponent's team, and Wish support, even though Togekiss will mainly want to run Roost in order to get its health back. It's also a solid defogger to get rid of hazards on his side of the field. Next up, he gets a very strong Tier 3 Pokemon with Crocodile, a solid dark ground type with the electric immunity. Has two good abilities in both Moxie and Intimidate. Intimidate, of course, to lower my attack by 1 on switching. And for Moxie, for every time he gets a kill, he gets an attack raised by 1. This makes Crocodile a very solid Scarf Sweeper, because he'll be able to outspeed with the Choice Scarf, and then if he gets a kill with the Moxie, then it's like him having a Choice Band and a Choice Scarf at the same time. And the attack will keep raising if he's capable of taking out more Pokemon. For all the offensive move pool, he's got access to Knock Off, Pursuit, Earthquake, Superpower, and Stone Edge. And then he also has some support in Taunt and Stealth Rocks. Crocodile is a very threatening Pokemon if you're not capable of having answers for it. And then he has Kyurem, not as strong as our Kyurem Black, but still a very good Pokemon. Dragon Ice type with the ability Pressure, so our moves go down by 2 instead of 1 for PP. Yeah, PP. He's a very solid special attacker. He has the same base attack and special attack, but normally runs special attack because of the access to Draco Meteor. Also got access to Dragon Pulse, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, and Earth Power. This is mainly Kyurem's only used for. He could run Life Orb with Roost if he wanted, but the Scarf or Spec set is normally what normal Kyurem runs. And if he brings it this week, I'll be expecting Scarf, so he can most likely outspeed my own Kyurem. Next up, we have Mienshao, a very strong fighting type, with access to the abilities Reckless and Regenerator. Regenerator is helpful because it is a U-turn pivot Pokemon, but you're mainly looking at Reckless because Mienshao gets access to High Jump Kick, so Reckless boosts High Jump Kick because it has the capability of causing harm to Mienshao if it misses, doing 50%. It has a solid speed tier with a good attack. It is a very, very solid Choice Scarfer. Once again, the move pool is most likely High Jump Kick, Knock Off, U-Turn, Poison Jab. It does also get access to moves such as like Aerial Ace and maybe Zen Headbutt. I think Shadow Claw too, but those are the main ones that it runs. Next up, you have Torkoal, Fire type, very bulky defensively. Access to the abilities Drought, which is a new one in Generation 7, and Shell Armor. He'll probably mainly bring Drought when he brings Torkoal just to boost its fire type moves, and it also helps Necrozma get 3 Force health back with Morning Sun instead of 50%. But Shell Armor also makes it so he doesn't get critical hitted in case he wants to try to set up with Torkoal with, say, Curse or Iron Defense. Torkoal is a solid rapid spinner, but is unfortunately weak to rocks, so that's something to take note of, to where he might always have to bring Defog on Togekiss. Offensive moves, Torkoal basically lacks, doesn't have that strong of special or physical attack, but it has access to Flamethrower, Overheat, and Earth Power. It also gets this support in its own Stealth Rocks after Rapid Spinning, Toxic, and Will-O-Wisp. And then you got the monster Licky Licky, normal type in Tier 5. Doesn't have that great abilities, mainly it would just want to run Oblivious so it can't get taunted, so it can support itself with Wish. It can run a solid special defensively bulk set with Body Slam. It also gets access to other moves such as Earthquake. It can be run physical attacking or special attacking, so it also has Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Knockoff, Power Whip, Thunderbolt, and then has support and Wish and Protect, Toxic, and Heal Bell for Cleric, and Disable. Licky Licky does have potential to be an answer to our Cure and Black special defensively, so we have to look out for that. And then lastly, Steelix, Tier 5 Steel Ground. Mainly wants to run that sturdy ability so it doesn't get one shot by a specially attack. Mainly he's run defensively with a base 200 defense, I believe. But you're going to want to hit it specially defensively because Steelix cannot handle it like that. Offensive move pool just is basic with Earthquake and Gyro Ball for stab, and then he has access to Stone Edge and Crunch. His main form of support is Stealth Rocks on Steelix, and Toxic, Taunt, and Roar if he wants to switch out Pokemon of his choice. Now, I decided to go ahead and build what I believe Cloud is going to bring versus me, and then I will go into my team. I believe Cloud will bring a defensive Slowbro because it is main answers to a Sandstream Excadrill and a sweeping Mega Pinsir. I believe he'd want to run the simple leftovers with regen, access to Scald, Thunder Wave for the Mega Pinsir, or if he brings us in on Cure and Black, Slack Off for health regen, and then I have Hidden Power Rock there to take on the Mega Pinsir and the Cure and Black, or he can also have Shadow Ball to take on the Reuniclus on my team. That will most likely be my answer to Slowbro. And then I have Togekiss, which is mainly special defensive, but some mixed bulk in the defense, just in case. Yeah, I have this down for a special defense Pokemon in case of me bringing Chandelure. I see him bringing this because Chandelure cannot do much against a special defensive Togekiss with this much bulk. It would force me to go for my strongest moves such as Overheat, and then I wouldn't be able to hit him continuously and he can just Roost Stall us. He also gets access to the Defog. Once again, I have that Thunder Wave down so he can cripple my opposing threats. But I can also see him bringing Heal Bell for Cleric against his team, since I do have the option of a lot of status. And Air Slash, of course, for an attack and possibly those flinches. Next up would be the Electros. I have a kind of a mix possibility for Electros. I do believe he's bringing Assault Vest no matter what, because once again that helps him take on the Chandelure, the Reuniclus, the Milotic. I do see him bringing a physical set because of that, because it can also take on Cure and Black a little bit if it wants to, and my Exploud. So he has access to that Drain Punch to where my special attacking moves are only going to be doing like 50% to him, or within that range with like a modest Boom Burst if he's max special defense, max HP Assault Vest Electros. So that Drain Punch makes it so no matter what, it's a 3-hit KO on his Electros. He does have the possibility of bringing a special attacking Electros, but I feel like the physical one would actually benefit him more this game. Now for Necrozma, I see him bringing another defensive bulky with some special attack. This is to take on more Mega Pinsir than Excadrill. Slowbro is just a better answer to Excadrill than Necrozma, because Necrozma cannot take on Excadrill, but Necrozma can take on Mega Pinsir very well, because it has that Prism Armor. Get that Sustain, of course, and Moonlight. His only form of Stealth Rocks I think he'll bring this week, so that's why I have Necrozma. Stab, Psychic, and then Dark Pulse to hit Reuniclus, which would be my answer to Necrozma. And then I also have him with the Darkinium Z as a possibility. This would be to really put damage onto Reuniclus, and then it not being a possible answer for Necrozma anymore, or even KOing it, depending on how much investment he has, compared to my special defensive investment. Now, this next one can be a mix of his 3 potential Scarfers. I see either Kyurem, or Mienshao, or Crocodile, mainly either Kyurem or Mienshao. because all three of those Pokemon are very solid choice scarfers and they have a solid speed tier, but Kyurem and Mienshao will be mainly the possibilities of the Scarf, just because they outspeed my Kyurem Black in case I bring a Scarf Kyurem Black. His Kyurem does speed tie if I go max speed as well, but Kyurem on his team can do a lot of damage besides to a Milotic on my team, and possibly Reuniclus, but he would be carrying Draco Meteor, Ice Beam, Earth Power, and Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball being, of course, for the Reuniclus, Earth Power for Excadrill, Ice Beam for Stab, and Draco for Stab, as well as the Kyurem Black. If he brings the Mienshao, it would be offensive with High Jump Kick, Knockoff, U-Turn, and Stone Edge. Stone Edge would be for it would be for defensive answer on my team. I don't remember which one off the top of my head. Oh, it'd be for my Chandelure in case he tries to predict, say, High Jump Kick. But the knockoff is also there for Uniclus, U-Turn for Switch, and a High Jump Kick for just for that reckless fighting stab that does a lot of damage. And then lastly, I see him bringing his Mega Absol, because it's got that nice magic bounce. Probably a Swords Dance set. I didn't put in the EVs, but full on attack and full on speed. He's forced to run Jolly and not Adamant because if I were to bring Mega Pinsir and I were to run Jolly, if he were to run Adamant, Mega Pinsir would be able to outspeed him. So he's forced to bring a max speed Jolly Mega Absol and not Adamant. He'd bring that Swords Dance with Knockoff, Play Rough, and Sucker Punch. My answer to this is Chestnut. A max defense Chestnut can even eat a super effective Play Rough from this thing and one-shot it with Drain Punch. So overall, the main things that do well against my team are the Slowbro, the Electros, and the Kyurem. I see him bringing Necrozma and Mega Absol just because everyone wants to bring their new Generation 7 the first game and their Mega the first game. It's just how it goes. And then Togekiss is just a good overall Pokemon that I can see him bringing. Now going into my team, I want to lead off with the Captain Kyurem Black. I wanted to go a very nice offensive mix set with Life Orb and Roost. We have that Ice Beam for Stab and then the Fusion Bolt to take on the Slowbro. I have that 32 investment on attack just to ensure a 2-hit KO on a fully defensive Slowbro with that attack investment. And then we have Earth Power for other answers on his team. And then Roost for Sustain just in case he does get rocks up on my side of the field. Then we have Katara, our Milotic, defensively bulky with some special defense. I put a little bit of speed just in case he tried to put speed investment in Necrozma to outspeed Milotic, just because we have one base more speed than Necrozma at base 80. Solid of HP, investment, and defense. Now we have this to take on any possibilities of Steelix, Torkoal. This also takes on his Kyurem very nicely. That's why I put a little bit of Spadef just so his Draco Meteor just does under 50. Even though he will be getting that Spadef drop, I just want to make it a 3-hit KO at any possibility. Bringing that Marvel Scale in case we get status, and then move pool wise, we have Scald for Stab, Ice Beam to hit his opposing Pokemon such as Amoonguss or Togekiss, and then Recover to get our health back, and Toxic because I just want to spread a lot of status on his team because he might bring Electros in here, and getting Toxic on Electros will make it so it's possible Giga Drain or Drain Punch won't give it that much sustain over time. He does have Heal Bell Cleric in both Licky Licky and Togekiss, but I see Milotic as being a good Toxic spreader this game. I was considering Mirror Coat for Electros with a possible Volt Switch until I realized that a physical Electros is more helpful for him this game instead of a special, so he could run U-Turn instead of that Volt Switch. But either way, if he brings in Electros, I'll be switching out and not be eating that Volt Switch. Next up we have Excadrill. I do not have Spin on Excadrill this week though because his move pool is very important. I could not bring Sand this week just because without Mold Breaker, Excadrill is not capable of clicking Earthquake against Electros, which is very important. I have Stealth Rocks just because Rocks can do a number on his team, and it forces him to go for Defog on Togekiss, which I can capitalize by going into one of my multiple wall breakers. Or Excadrill himself right here. Excadrill's got that Earthquake for already the Electros and just overall stab, as well as Iron Head. Iron Head's hitting super effectively on that Togekiss on his side. Now his main answer to Excadrill, like I said earlier, is Slowbro. And that is why I bring the Buginium Z with X-Scissor. This is going to be very interesting. I have to run Adamant in order to knock it out this way, but an Earthquake into a Buginium Z, min rolls included, kills a max defensive Slowbro. If I really wanted to, just to be safe, I don't know if he'll expect it, but X-Scissor into, of course, Buginium Z, but I don't want to click X-Scissor on a prediction of the Slowbro coming in, just because then he might predict the Buginium Z, knowing that my Excadrill does hold a Z Crystal, or does have the possibility of holding it. Unfortunately, the Earthquake into Buginium Z will not take out Necrozma, but Necrozma does not have regen like Slowbro, so after Necrozma gets possibly worn down a little bit and wasn't capable of using Morning Sun, I'll be capable of taking it out, even though it will have that Prism Armor. For speed-wise, I only invested a little bit in case he tries to speed creep with certain Pokemon. Otherwise, everything on his team that has speed more than Excadrill, he's going to be running max speed most likely. So I decided to invest in special defense just in case I have to take on a Slowbro Scald or something else on his team. So I can take on a Moongus pretty well with this. And then moving on, we have Reuniclus, nice shiny form. I have defensive investment with Colbleberry. We are taking a risk this week by, he has multiple options with knockoff, so I want to eat that with Colbleberry and then get off for a cover after a following knockoff and then have a chance to hit them with Focus Blast. It is going to be very risky because Focus Blast is only a 70% chance, but Focus Blast will hit his team very hard, and it's going to be very interesting. We have Shadow Ball for the Necrozma and the Slowbro, and of course Psyshock for stab. That can also take on the Mean Chow and just one-hit that thing easy, and as well as the Moongus. Exploud. This is the one I'm most proud on the team right now. So Exploud are running that Choice Specs soundproof. We don't have to run Scrappy because he has no ghost types on the team. That is the honestly probably the only flaw in Cloud's team is he doesn't have a spin blocker. We just have Boom Burst. His only strong resist is Steelix, and if he brings a Max Spadef Steelix, then we 3-hit KO it, which I would be okay with. I could have ran Surf or Focus Blast, but I mainly just want to click Boom Burst because that just does in the rest of his team. Now, like I said earlier in AV Electros, if he brings Max HP, Max Spadef, we do have to 3-hit KO Electros. And I have Sleep Talk as the following move in case he does bring a Moongus, even though I don't expect it, and he tries to go for a Spore. That way we can always just bring Exploud to take in that Spore, and then we just hit Sleep Talk, and it will always be 100% Boom Burst that comes out. And then lastly, I wanted another defensive answer, so we brought Chestnut, rocking that Rocky Helmet to take on those offensive Pokemon. We got Bulletproof, just because I'd rather that over Overgrow, considering we don't have any offensive Grass-type moves with us. Drain Punch to take on the Dark types, such as Crocodile and Mega Absol. We got Leech Seed for Sustain, just in case he wants his answer to be, say, Necrozma on his side. We'll be wearing it down a little bit. We have that Toxic once again, because I want to spread status. And we have Taunt, because his main answer to Chestnut will most likely be Togekiss. So if I predict Togekiss coming in, I can go for the Taunt. That way that he is not capable of either going for a Defog, going for a Heal Bell, or a Roost. He's forced to click Air Slash, and that's when I go hard into Excadrill. And then I threaten that thing out with Iron Head. Overall, my team seems very good versus Cloud, but I'm still scared of his team just because it has a lot of potential. Pokemon that can wall Kyurem Black is very limited. Licky Licky is an option, but that is also why we have Chestnut here in the back to take on that Licky Licky easily. I feel like we counter his team pretty well, but I feel like it will still be interesting facing his team, considering I want to move a lot of status, but he does have Heal Bell and Magic Bounce capabilities. I'm pretty sure I put his team spot on, but we'll find out when we face him later this week. Of course, this team build went up after I already faced Cloud, so the live battle should be going up tomorrow or the following day. And that will be everything from me, guys. Hope you look forward to the match. Deuces.